Potential options for Red Bull to replace Sergio Perez. Current Red Bull driver Sergio Perez is the most successful Mexican driver ever in Formula One history, with 6 Grand Prix victories to his name. Over the last 2 seasons, he was at the peak of his F1 career with the Red Bull team, recording victories and podiums regularly. But he suddenly lost his form more recently, even after appearing his name among the main title contenders at the beginning of the 2023 season. As his Red Bull contract is set to expire at the end of next season, as well as Red Bull management has a bad practice of replacing underperforming drivers in the midway of the F1 seasons, a discussion has been built around the potential replacement options for Checo Perez. So, this is the result of our analysis to find the best option to replace Perez at Red Bull. But before starting the discussion, remember to hit the bell icon for more interesting F1 updates like this. After losing his Racing Point F1 deal at the end of the 2020 season, Perez was without a race seat, and most people thought that he would never get a chance in F1 again, as most of the race seats were filled at the moment. But he suddenly got a call from Red Bull to replace Alexander Albon, who failed over a season there. This was a surprising decision from the Red Bull team management, as they followed a long tradition of offering their F1 seats to the Red Bull Junior, who graduated from its academy. So, the Mexican was partnered with Max Verstappen during the Dutchman's maiden championship winning season as the wingman of the team. He performed his duties very well by defending Hamilton, who was the main threat to Verstappen's championship hope. In the next season, Checo also wanted to fight for the championship, but he failed in that attempt. However, he came back strongly in the 2023 season by recording victories at Jeddah and Baku, but he suddenly experienced a drop in his performance with 5 early exits from qualifying in Raw. That's the main reason to open this discussion among several parties involved in the sport, as Red Bull management really frustrated with the costly errors which were made by Checo. Lando Norris is a top name that pops up with the rumors related to the future driver lineups of Red Bull. He has proved himself as a driver with a championship-winning capability since his junior days by being the 2017 F3 champion and 2018 F2 runner-up. It is said that Norris is disappointed with the current performance of the McLaren Challengers, as he is waiting over several seasons until the Woking-based squad produces a car that can really challenge the title. More recently, some photographs were leaked in mainstream media that Lando's manager, Mark Berryman, was chatting with Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko at Red Bull's motorhome few hours before the recently concluded British GP. Berryman is working as the manager of Lando Norris since his karting days, and it seems to be happening something behind the screen to add Lando to the Red Bull driver lineup. Helmut Marko has also expressed some controversial statements about his interest in the McLaren driver as well. He has a contract with McLaren in 2025, but he is by far the strongest of the young drivers, Marko said. His youthful nature would also suit him best at Red Bull, and it's no secret that he and Max are good friends. Unfortunately, Norris is bounded to the Woking-based team by a long-term deal till the end of the 2025 season, and it would be a difficult task for him to leave McLaren before the contract expires, as there is no exit clause in his contract. This is not the first time that Red Bull shows interest on him. Recently, Red Bull team principal Christian Horner revealed that his team management approached Norris before signing a multi-year deal with McLaren as well. He is still 23 years old and has enough time to join with Red Bull in the future. If Red Bull doesn't meet any driver to replace Perez for a long term, at the end of next year, Lando has the chance of joining the Milton Keynes-based squad by the end of his current contract, which expires in 2025. In addition to Norris, it is said that Red Bull management has approached Charles Leclerc too. We know the caliber of Leclerc and what he can do with a car that has a potential to challenge the title. Leclerc is also disappointed with the inconsistency shown by the Maranello-based team over the last 2 years. Ferrari team gave him much hopes about the title at the beginning of every season with a powerful challenger, but when the season progresses, Ferrari loses its form relative to the other top teams. This is a part of their dream team plan that they are patiently over years to field two genuinely competitive drivers. After the passing of Dietrich Mateschitz, Oliver Mintzlaff is appointed to the Red Bull leadership. The strategies and visionary of the new leadership somewhat differ from the Mateschitz era and has stressed the Red Bull F1 management to secure a second top-tier driver within the team. If Red Bulls are able to secure a deal with Leclerc, it will be a handy option for the Milton Keynes-based team to challenge the title in future. The 25 years old Monegasque driver is currently running with a contract set to expire at the end of the 2024 season, which is parallel to the time frame of Perez's contract. Then Leclerc will be a better option for Red Bull than Lando if they need someone to replace Perez exactly by the end of the 2024 season. In our list, the last option is Daniel Ricciardo, who received a new full-time contract at the Red Bull sister team AlphaTauri. The 8-time race winner had a previous stint with the Austrian racing team during the period between 2014 and 2018. He joined the team as a driver with the championship-winning capability in 2014. However, Red Bull was never able to produce a car that can challenge the title during the peak ages of his career. After adding young Verstappen to their driver lineup, Red Bull management favored the Dutchman over the Honey Badger, so Ricciardo left the team at the end of the 2018 season. Then he spent 2 years at Renault without enjoying much success. After that, he moved to McLaren with a multi-year contract, but wasn't able to live up to the expectations, always falling behind his teammate, Lando Norris. After 2 underperforming seasons, the McLaren team decided to remove Ricciardo from their lineup even before expiring his contract. Then he returned back to Red Bull team as a reserve and got a surprising opportunity at AlphaTauri as a full-time driver. His recent performances are disappointing, and he needs to prove himself again as a driver who is worth enough to get one more chance at Red Bull. Ricciardo is now 34 years old, and he will be 35 if he has to wait till the official expiration of Perez's contract. Only few drivers in the modern F1 arena were able to perform very well in their late 30s. The only criteria that would be considered by Red Bull to offer him a contract is the experience that he brought to a team with 232 race entries, 32 podiums, and 3 pole positions. However, Red Bull will have more attractive young driver options than Ricciardo with enough experience at the end of the 2024 season. The only possibility that Ricciardo gets an opportunity at Red Bull is if they wanted to replace Perez in the midway of the season. But before all these things, he needs to prove himself as a consistent performer at AlphaTauri. He will fit to the Milton Keynes-based squad only as a short-term replacement option with his age. Those are the only potential options that we can see for Red Bull team based on their interest. Other than that, they have many options like George Russell, Valtteri Bottas, and Carlos Sainz from the current driver market, but they never showed their interest. Who will be the replacement of Sergio Perez at the end of next season? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. That's the end of today's video, and thank you for staying with us. If you're satisfied with our video, subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos like this.